Hello, my name's Jim Bob. How the hell are ya? If you like what I do here, consider clicking that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. So, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Wait, or is it just called Birds of Prey? Wait, no. It's actually called Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. No, it's called Harley Quinn and the Emancipation of Birds of Prey. That wasn't even a word. Wait, is it called Harley Quinn Reloaded or Harley Quinn The Empire Strikes Back? Oh, f it, I'm just going to call it Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is about, well, I couldn't quite tell you actually because the story is so all over the place. Long story short, Harley Quinn and the Joker have broken up. Now without Mr. J's protection, she becomes a target for Black Mask and criminals all over the city, and her along with 3 other women fight off against the odds. I actually think Birds of Prey is a pretty solid entry into this franchise because at this point the DCEU literally makes no sense, and sadly that's the case for this movie sometimes. Its story is all over the place to the point where they keep going back and forth in and out of flashbacks and different storylines to introduce new characters, and I found myself lost quite a lot. Kind of like how Deadpool did with his "let me take you back to the beginning" part for you to understand this part. With all the multiple storylines going on in this film in particular, things going on at the same time, you sometimes forget that you're actually in a flashback. The big difference between this and Deadpool is that Deadpool actually made sense when it did this. But to my surprise, this is one of those rare movies where I can actually forgive the messy story because of how good some other parts of the film are. For example, Margot Robbie is fantastic as Harley Quinn. She really brings his character to life in a lot of ways. And despite Harley Quinn being such a bad person, you actually care for her in this film. This film explores the more sentimental side of the character. She pretty much looks out for herself at this point now that Mr. J, her darling Pudding, has gone, and now she just wants to get on with life. This essentially being a Suicide Squad sequel, I was very sceptical about it, but it passes Suicide Squad in terms of quality and quantity by a mile and pretty much everything else. My favourite part of Suicide Squad is actually Harley Quinn. I like Deadshot too, but he was essentially Will Smith playing Will Smith.
Yeah.
Harley, on the other hand, I'm so happy Margot Robbie returned as this character because the energy and charm she brings to the screen is incredible. Now, the cast are great, but I think one character in particular that stood out to me was actually Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Huntress. I thought she was really good. She's a total badass and out for revenge on the people who wronged her and her family, but despite all this badassery in her arsenal, she severely lacks social skills. She's very anxious and doesn't have a clue how to talk to someone else. The way she poses in the mirror when she's alone and she says her name out loud when no one's around, trying to make her villain name sound cool, is just hilarious. Especially when she gets really defensive when she's referenced as the crossbow killer.
They call me Huntress.
Hey, nice. What the hell is up with this bow and arrow?
It's not a freaking bow and arrow, it's a crossbow. I'm not 12.
I love this chick. She's got rage issues.
I don't have rage issues!
So there are some pretty funny scenes in that aspect. Now the other 3 characters are fine enough, they're just not as interesting to me as Harley and Huntress, so I don't have that much to say about them. Ewan McGregor as Black Mask is fine too, but he's nothing special. He reminded me a lot of a Joker type character with the incredibly over the top personality he has, and I reckon this is probably a way of replacing Jared Leto's Joker because they didn't want to bring Jared Leto's Joker back on board, and I actually agree with that idea. His henchman on the other hand, Victor Zazu, I think that's how you pronounce it, to me was the better character and the more menacing of the two. But what this film does get right, other than its characters, is the awesome fight choreography. Hell yes! The fights in this film are so damn entertaining. I had a massive grin on my face watching Harley Quinn beating people up in really brutal ways. I have dark humour. Dark, very dark. The fight scenes in this film are definitely the highlight, and while some of the ways people get hit in this film is absolutely hilarious, it doesn't take you out the suspense of the fight scene either. It's brutal in ways I've never really seen in a DC film. Hence the R rating. People get smashed in the face, shot in the head, arrows to the throat, broken legs. It's awesome. Sorry. Dark humour. It's a shame the film flopped really bad financially because this is a very solid DCEU film. It's more proof that R-rated superhero films work. I know Marvel is run under Disney, so we probably won't see much of the R-rated side over there, but it's pretty cool that DC are taking these risks, because I think Birds of Prey really pulls off pretty much everything I want to see in a comic book movie, other than the messy story. It has great characters that continuously bounce dialogue off each other, it has great fight choreography, and Margot Robbie is a national treasure. Even better this time around as Harley Quinn. Birds of Prey gets a B-. Just a short review today, guys, but if you like what I do here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. Remember, you are awesome. Take care.